We try to make it as easy as possible. You don't have to wait for a postcard in the mail from us. You print that right off of our system if you decide that you want to go to court, and you're going to print your court date. It all comes to you automatically. You don't have to wait for anything. And if you pay, of course, your driver's license, unfortunately, won't be right there. But once we determine that you paid, then we'll be mailing your driver's license to you. So you didn't have to come down to our office at all if you decided to plead guilty and pay. So that's our online traffic ticket system. Over at the 26th in California is where our felony court is. And at our felony court, people come in the morning times. And when I first took office, there was a lot of paper on the wall with the court calls on it. And people would walk, I don't know if you've been over there, you saw all of that paper. They called it the wall of shame. All that paper. And you had to go up there, you could barely read it. You had to try to figure out where your court room was, and your judge. And I, was determined to get rid of that wall. And I was able to successfully get rid of that in 2010. We have kiosks now. And you go to the kiosk and you can put in Spanish, you can put in Polish or English, and you can type in, you can type and ask for any of those languages, and then type in the defendant's name, and the judge, the courtroom, the court time, and all of that will pop up, and then you actually it'll print a receipt out for you to carry with you. You can go and find your room. And so no longer do you have to look on that wall to try to see what what room your family, friend, or a relative is. And so we put in those smart kiosks at 26 in California. A lot of people don't know that we have court and branch courts throughout the city. How many of you know that we have court and branch courts? I didn't know that. That in the police departments, in 5 different police departments, I didn't know that till I took office, that 5 different police departments, there's at least 2 courtrooms. One out here on 111th Street, 51st and Wentworth, Harrison and Kedzie. They have Grand and Central. And then farther up on Belmont, I believe, Belmont and Western, there is a courtroom, 2 courtrooms where they will hear misdemeanor cases. You don't have to leave your community, and they're set bond hearings and everything, but it's only misdemeanors, not felonies, that they hear at those different locations. So I just threw that out there because it was just information that a lot of people, I know I didn't know, and I know a lot of people were not aware. Also have on my website a mortgage foreclosure surplus search engine, and I talked about mortgage foreclosure surplus earlier. When a person loses their property, unfortunately, to mortgage foreclosure, most of the time people don't even come to court. And I've had some mortgage foreclosure summits to explain to people the importance of coming to court. We work with the judiciary. There is a help desk there. Every judge, when a person files their appearance, and sometimes people won't come and file an appearance because they say, well, I can't afford the $194 or whatever it is to file an appearance. And filing an appearance in a court case is just acknowledging that you received the paperwork and that you plan to come to court. Well, if you can't afford that amount, and a person is unemployed, even if they're underemployed, the judge can waive the fee. But most of the time, people won't even come to court to even have the judge to waive the fee to file the appearance. And so when you don't file your appearance, you get defaulted and the other person wins without you even showing up. It's just as simple as that. And that's what the bank wants you to do. They want you to default, not show up, and so they can just get you out of your property even faster. But if in fact that happens, if a person loses their property to mortgage foreclosure and the judge orders the property sold, then the property is sold either by the sheriff or there's 2 other agencies that sell the property. When that property is sold, many times a person might have paid a large down payment on the property, or early on before a lot of our mortgages, our homes went underwater, and it's so much lower than what we owe on our property. before that, and even today, we still have people that are actually making money on sales. The sheriff and these inter-county judicial sales, they're actually making money on some of these sales. They're selling the property for more than the person actually owed on their mortgage. And when that happens, that extra money that's owed is brought to the clerk's office, and we have to, deposit in a bank account. And we hold it there, and we earn interest for you, for the person that lost the property. And when the person comes in and proves that that is indeed them, then we have to cut them a check with interest. Now the problem is, inter-county sales agency or the sheriff or whoever sold the property, they're responsible for sending the notification to you, letting you know you had the extra money coming. But what happens is it goes to the address where you lost your property. And people don't leave foreign addresses most of the time. Because when they're running away from their mortgage, they're also running away from other debtors, so they won't leave foreign addresses. So what happens? That money sits in a bank account. I have $16 million that's sitting in a bank account that's owed to over 2,000 people that don't know that they have this money coming. Ranging from 13 cents to almost for $400,000 is the highest that's due someone. And so what I decided was that I wanted to help find these individuals too, just like the child support check people. So I had my staff to create a mortgage foreclosure surplus search portal on my website. So I have a very valuable website. You can make a lot of money off my website if you have money coming to you. So you can go on our website, and we don't even have full names out there because we don't want to embarrass people. We have last name and first initial. You go out there, last name, first initial, and hit search, and if your name pops up, then all the forms that are necessary to complete will pop up, and they're fillable. You can complete them right on the website, print them out. When the Supreme Court, when we get the e-filing going for mortgage foreclosure surplus search, you're going to be able to just click and actually file them electronically as well. But right now, you can print them out, fill them out, print them out, and bring them into our office, and then we get you before a judge, and the judge will tell us to write you a check. You can also call before you fill the forms out. There's a phone number there. You can call, give us enough information. We can tell you if indeed that's you. Because there are a lot of common names like D. Brown. There's a few D. Browns out there, and it may or may not be you, so you'd have to call and say, is this Dorothy Brown? Is this, what D. Brown is this? And determine whether or not it's you. We also have an annual expungement summit. And many of you have probably heard of the expungement summit that I host. We hosted it at Apostolic Church of God for 2 years in a row, and it helped. It's an effort to help as many people as possible to get that second chance. The state of Illinois I would say we have done a better job than a lot of states in helping to get people that have misdemeanors and even felonies the ability to have a second chance, especially for nonviolent offenses. And the law states that certain things you can get sealed or expunged, and when you are approved by a judge, then that means that when you apply for a job, you can say you've never been arrested or you've never been convicted. If in fact the judge actually sealed or expunged your record. Some states don't have expungement laws or sealing laws. Just like some states don't permit ex-offenders to actually vote. The state of Illinois does. We've been working hard. We've had some great people in our state legislature that have actually fought hard to make sure that that we have those kind of laws and they are to be applauded. I believe our former state rep, Connie Howard, I'm not sure, I think Connie was for here. Yeah. I know she was my state rep, I believe, over at 8816 Constance. And Connie was, she led the charge on the expungement and sealing laws. So that's basically those are the kinds of things that I wanted to talk about. My website is located at Cook County, clerkofcourt.org. And you can certainly go to my website and get all of this information is Cook County Clerk of Court.org. And I'll open up for any questions.
So if they are expunged, isn't it possible it can still be found on the internet?
Well, not for Cook County. For some of the other counties, yes. Our judge, Evans, Chief Judge Evans, does not permit, we do not put criminal cases out on the internet. Mm-hmm. We only have civil cases. Mm-hmm. So the information for us, now they have other ways of finding it out. You can come to our office and you can look it up on our public access terminal very easily. You can get some of these background checkers. They come and sit at our terminals all day long and check on our public access terminal. I may not have it on the internet, but we have it on the computer at the office, and people will come and they will do the background checks. And it's important that people are able to do background checks, especially for certain types of jobs. I mean, you want to know if a person has a certain kind of record, if in fact they are driving your children on school buses, they're daycare workers, etc. And those kinds of jobs, for those kind of jobs, we are required to give them that kind of information. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, in Cook County, you can't really find that kind of information, not from my website.
On the child support issue, you were talking about funds that sometimes people don't even get. Mm-hmm. What do you do with that money? It just stays there forever, or do you put it into some other kind of program?
It stays there for that person. Mm-hmm. It stays there for that person and earns interest for that person. And because it's not even, well, some of it, let me just back up, because we do have to forward some of it to the state treasurer, not state treasurer, I'm sorry, the county treasurer. We have a law that we have to forward over to the county treasurer. But if in fact a person is found, then we would have to bring it back from the county treasurer and then write the check to that person. That money always belongs to you. It's just a matter of where it would have to come back from.
On the order of protection, once someone file an order of protection, is that forever, or does it have a time limitation on it?
There are time limits. First, when a person files an order of protection, they get a temporary order of protection. When they first, you can go in for an emergency order of protection. Today, we have judges on duty, as late as in the evening time for emergency orders of protection. Because sometimes people really, need it, and they need it on an emergency basis. And you can go right in today and say, I need an emergency order. And a judge will issue a temporary order of protection. Because right now, when you're coming in, it's only your word. Mm-hmm. It's only your word. You're there by yourself saying that you need an order of protection. Well, so they'll give you a temporary. Then they'll set a court date for a hearing for the abuser to come in, and then the abuser has to get notified that they, that someone has filed an order of protection against them. The sheriff will serve them, mm-hmm. and let them know that the sheriff or the police will serve them. Let them know that they've been served, and then that person then both people come to court. We have a new domestic violence courthouse, and the way we have it set up, we have one side for women and one side for men. Now, if the abuser and the victim are both women, or the abuser and the victim are both men, then that's unusual. But they still they would be going through the same side. But that's usually unusual. So we have one side for the men to go through, and one side for the women to go through, and then we have a place for the victims to go to see domestic violence advocates and that sort of thing. And then they go up even different elevators. Whereas at the other courthouse, they were going through the same way. They were going up the same elevators. Of course, we had fights on the elevator and everything. So we had to tried to do whatever we could to, continue to protect people.